These are a couple of beautiful Sergeant Baker. Another name I really love is Dragon Snapper as well. And if you look at that huge lizard looking head just there, and with these awesome fins as well, you can see how they got that name. These guys have a bit of a reputation for being bony old bastards, but I'm here to tell you they have some beautiful meat, and I'll show you how to work around that bony reputation. Chasing these guys, I'm mainly looking for this bouldery kind of terrain you see here. And first thing we're going to do is unload a bandit on our gun just to depower it, because there is every chance we're going to be shooting into rocks here. You see them lying there. They're pretty chill. They won't tend to run away. So you can take your time to line them up and try and get a nice clean headshot. You can see there I didn't go all the way through, so I just pushed the spear through with my hand, and there you can see that beautiful fish.
Yeah, the males have this little flag, and then look at that. There you go.
So here we got that beautiful dragon snapper, and we're going to start off by taking the wings and the head off as per usual, and you can see that sick looking dragon head right there. Taking the fillets off is a little bit different with these. I like to start at the tail and just work my way along the spine. Lots of little bones that we're going to be dealing with later, so this just makes it a little easier to follow that spine and get the fillets off here. I'm not too worried about waste at this point, as all of my scraps are going to be going into a stock. I love these guys for stock. They taste unreal, especially when you get a little crust going on in the frying pan. So here we're just going to take the skin off. It can be a little hard once they've dried out in the fridge, unfortunately. So a little bit of meat coming off here, and we have to go back for seconds, but we got it off in the end. I'm just going to get rid of the ribs as we would with any other fish, sliding the knife in underneath and then working our way to the pin bones and then down to the belly. Now comes the tricky bit though. We're going to have 2 lines of pin bones going something like this, and we've got to cut these out of the meat. So you can hear me feeling out where those bones are, and then cutting in right next to them to separate our first little strip of meat. So we're just going to work our way along these pin bones, feeling as we go, making sure that we're not missing any, and just got to be careful because sometimes they do kind of curl back under that little strip of meat. Nice sharp knife's going to help you out heaps here. So we've got that first strip off, and we're just going to make our way along, cutting that little strip of pin bones out, and then we're going to start separating our next strip. Alright, so let's prepare our ingredients for these fish cakes, and let's start with some lemongrass. Chop that real fine just to help the blender out. Take a little garlic, cut the bum off that, crush it, chop that up. I'll just drop that in there. Take a bit of ginger, 2 centimeters by 2 centimeters there. Peel that with the knife. Once we got that peeled, we'll just put it with the lemongrass for now. A couple of these spring onions. You can actually plant these, believe it or not, and they will regrow. So keep your bums. Take the end off that, the little dodgy end there. Now some of these wider ends we'll keep to actually put in the cakes. These are going to be a bit more for garnish and presentation. Slice these ends up real thin, ready to go into the fish cakes. A couple limes here. I'm going to scrape the rind off. We're going to use that in the fish cakes just to give it that little zesty punch. Got that lime rind all done. So now for the fun part, let's blend all this up. Sergeant Baker just here in the vac pack was frozen. Now it is not. Dump them in there. Now I do want to get a couple of meals out of these cakes, so I'm going to add a little bit of red rock cod as well that we filleted earlier. Let's add in our spring onions and lemongrass there. Most of our lime rind. I'm going to save a little bit for the garnish at the end. Drop a bit of garlic in. This ginger here, we're just going to grate it on the microplane. Next up, we got our red curry paste. At least 2 tablespoons of that. Let's top it off with an egg, just to bind it all together. The egg whites kind of whip as well and will give us a nice springy texture. So, let's blend it. Also forgot to add a little bit of fish sauce just for some salty flavour. A teensy bit of peanut oil just to kind of smooth out a bit. It's kind of springy paste. what we want. Beautiful. A little bit of coriander. And then we'll just chuck it on for 1 sec again, real quick. Lovely. So we're getting close now. I can just test the water by getting a little bit of the mix on the spoon and then dropping it in. You can see it bubbles, not straight away, but pretty soon after, which means we're getting close, and the thermometer is reading 125, so I'll probably look for around 150, something actually close to what we got now. So we'll just start turning the heat down, just so we don't burn the oil too much. To form these up, we're just going to take tablespoon measure here. You can just squash it all in there, sort of portion it up like that. Got it like flattened off mostly, just like that. And then we're just going to take a spoon, scoop it out, and drop it in like that. Definitely helps to have a thermometer here because I can constantly monitor the temperature of this oil and make sure we're not getting too hot. Once we see them starting to brown, come out and go into the bowl. We'll grab them out. Chuck them over there. Go. Plate up our fish cakes. Maybe even around the outside. See if we can get this little dish in the middle. Something like that. Get them all arranged nicely. Unfortunately, I'm not making a sauce today, but I do have this little sweet and sour kind of sweet chili dipping sauce there. I think we'll just put some lime rind in there. I'll just chuck these out, and of course a bit of coriander, because you can't go without that. Just all kind of spread out around all that. Beautiful. There it is. Fish cakes.